Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. Bitcoin is the chart we're going to be looking at today. It is at $94,000-ish and around there. It's been kind of going up and down. It was at 94,100 and something, and now it's 94,200 and so. So it's in around $94,000, okay? And what are we going to be looking at here is the patterns, okay? We're going to do an errand analysis here. We're going to grab this trend line here, and we're going to go ahead and let's select the color black. Let's go ahead and draw what I'm seeing here. I want to show you guys this historically with Bitcoin. Okay. And right about there, yeah. Okay, it had a completed pattern in the past, okay? And you can look down here at the years where you're looking in and around 2020 to 2023, okay? And here is the pattern here. Now here is why the patterns are so powerful, okay? It's so cool. Because right when this is completed, it draws a trend line that it could extend. And that hits in and around, what, $35,000. Bitcoin did not go down and retest this trend line, but keep in mind this trend line is very powerful, okay? The next thing is we want to draw and see what happened from the necklines here, okay? And draw the neckline there, look at that. So we do indeed see that we had some trouble right here. Okay, it wanted to go up and then fell back down. And then when it finally broke this trend line again, it soared, right? But you can see that even price tried to go all the way down and retest this trend line. Okay, almost succeeding, but kind of finding some support on the peak right here. Okay, but in and around our trend line, you see, so very powerful. Pulled back up, never wanted to even get close to it again. Okay, now let's go ahead and draw these shoulders. Okay, we're going to connect these shoulders. I'm going to project them into the future there. We'll just connect the line. Right there. Okay, now they're nice and neat looking. Okay, so what I want to show you here is when this pattern completed, we have the green candles go up. See that? And they get back in line with this accumulation zone right here. Okay, this sideways movement there. Okay, it kind of starts to go and test that area from the before. Then it makes a dip there, a low, but then it says, oh, no, go right back on up to the upside. It doesn't want to come down and touch this line here, okay? So it kind of plays in and around this area here, kind of looking at this. It's kind of like looking and saying, oh boy, look at that resistance trend line. I don't want to get near that, okay? It's like one of those electric fences. You want to kind of zap them, right? And they're like, no, I don't want to mess with that. Let's just kind of go and kind of hide away from it. And then they get the courage and they muster up the strength and they're like, okay, let's plow through it. Boom, right? They break through and they're kind of free. Then they retest here and they get shocked and they're like, oh, that support kind of springs them all the way up here, right? But now they're in trouble because they have another resistance trend line from our pattern back here, right? So they just can't seem to escape our pattern peaks, right? Whether inverted or normal. And you can see that it hits, bam, knocks its head there. Then it kind of goes up, it comes back down, and then it finally finds the strength to go up and through. So you notice every time we see a test here on this trend line, it breaks, and then it kind of rides above it, and then it bounces off of it, and then it's kind of free, right? Kind of just shoots up, you get a strong move up. Same thing here, okay? Went up, bounced, went below, came on up here, and then boom, it soared, it skyrocketed, okay? So that is indeed what we see. Now we have our lines drawn. Let's go ahead and draw the peaks right here. Okay. So you know, into the future, these two peaks here are going to offer their support and resistance. And you can see that we had a nice big move on up to the upside here. Okay. Shot up, went past, and then it comes down and touches right here. Boom, one time. Comes on up to the upside, comes back down. You have some zigzagging up in here. It goes down, it goes up, and then back down. Okay, and what are these guys doing right here? They're trying to reach below and find some support on these guys here, right? Goes on the way up to the upside. But now we're kind of like sitting above this. So this is really good for Bitcoin, okay? This is really good. Let's draw a line here with red. And we can see if Bitcoin can hold and maintain its value above this trend line. Ladies and gentlemen, if it can hold this, that is beautiful news, okay? That's beautiful news. And we could hopefully, stay above that and reach higher highs, okay? So I do like seeing that indeed, okay? I want to see that happen there. That is the favorable outcome for Bitcoin for most of us here that are holders of it and or wanting to get in and have some fun there. Another big thing is Bitcoin is at a big high right now. I favor getting in low on things, okay? Like down here, okay? Somewhere down there after a pattern completion or something like that. On something like Bitcoin, it's, you know, mainstream and a lot of people are talking about it. And a lot of investors, you know, are diving in, okay? It's not like one of these little projects that are small and they can kind of fall very easily. Bitcoin has some strong legs under it. And so for that reason, I do indeed like the strong patterns that is also made and has followed through with precision, okay? So let's go ahead and draw these areas here. There we go. Give me a second here. I draw these. And we're going to just draw one right here because there's lots of points of contact right in there. And that kind of covers what we're looking at. So let's just draw a big one here. There we go. So we can kind of have a window to see. All right, so you see all these multiple points of contact taken from our trend lines of smart areas, right, from our smart pattern there. So we do indeed see the story unfolding of what's happening with Bitcoin. If we extend this into the future here, we could see maybe it'll hit like 60,000 or something like that. So this is a nice pullback area here. This is an extreme pullback. And this is our short-term pullback right here, okay, that we're looking at. Hopefully, I drew the red arrow up. Bitcoin respects this area here, and maybe it'll play with it, go up and down, and kind of like, you know, get shocked like electricity, bzzz, back and forth before it decides to say, oh, I'm out of here. Send me up, right? Beam me up. So, I mean, it could do something like that. Now, this is what I kind of want to go out. You see the black pattern here, but now I want to draw this one in. Let's draw it in blue. Now, this is the scary thing, okay? And I don't want you guys to kind of start biting your nails and think, oh, no, panic, let's freak out. This pattern could happen. You know what? Patterns are very powerful, and they do show themselves, and they are sometimes very clear. And I got to show you this pattern here, okay? I hate to be the bad guy here, but look at what's happening, okay? Hope you guys have already had a lot of aha moments. Ooh, Aaron analysis. Really cool. I love what he's showing me. I'd love to hear that. Guys, write it in the comment section below. Do you like the video? Subscribe. Here we go here. You see, we're over here. This is a beautiful left shoulder. Look at that, the neckline right here. The left side of one so far, right? The formation of one, but it formed beautiful. Okay, it was a little ugly in between here and making it, but you can see the low point here on respecting our trend line. Beautiful. Back here, look at this. I'm on up here and then down, right? There's a nice left shoulder there too. Nice and strong. This is a nice big one. See, look at the nice, beautiful distance between them. So now all I'm saying is this is the worst, you know, the mid worst scenario, right? This is the worst case scenario down here, but I just want to draw this here. We'll draw it like maybe in the middle right here because there's a lot of up and down right here. So we'll just say maybe if Bitcoin were to pull back like this, something like that. There we go. And then want to do something like this. Okay. Maybe retest that there and then kind of do a that. Okay, maybe it's not going to go down to 35,000. Okay. Maybe it'll just hit right here, 65,000-ish, or maybe give it some time, maybe 2026 mid. Okay. And then it'll complete itself or something like that. Okay. Maybe that's the worst case scenario and it's not this one right here. Okay, if that is indeed the case right there, I would have to say that this is 2026, 2027, 2028, right? Completion. And you have here 2023 and around there completion. You can see that's when it started to kind of like after the pattern, right? The low of the pattern here, of this big black one here, we can see that it started to move up there, up into 2024. See, down here, 2023. 2024. Okay, so right here would be 27, 28 to 2029, somewhere around in there, and that maybe would be like this. You see, up to the upside, and we could probably even get a higher high. You see how these guys are right there, that high, and then we might get our big movement in around 2029, 2030, something like that. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. Okay, the other one is it hitting somewhere down in here. And this is the mid case scenario right in there and then going on up. And this is our most favorable, beautiful scenario up here. Okay. So is Bitcoin crashing? Is it going to fulfill this big pattern? I don't know. Hopefully not, right? Hopefully it just kind of finds some support here and then continues its upward move, and this pattern does not form or begin to kind of form itself down here by making a neckline, okay, and then the shoulder peak. But if it does do this, let's hope that it fails to the downside, because these patterns do fail sometimes, don't fully complete, and then goes up from there, okay? But these are my scenarios right here with their dates down below, okay, of what we could be looking at. Hopefully we get some movement up sooner and this trend line up here is respected, and this pattern, this big pattern, doesn't complete. But you can see why I wanted to share this and educate people as to what I'm looking at here, because you can see the precision points of contact with the trend lines I drew, the times below, right, the dates, and also the patterns and their distance between one another, and the big beautiful beauties of them, right, when they form and when they are finished there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that Bitcoin has some good potential. I will be here to see and monitor Bitcoin and see if there's some nice short-term trades. If I do see something kind of pull back and I say, hey, this looks nice to get in on, I'll make a video and I will give that kind of educational value there. Remember, I am not an expert. I do not give financial advice.